Hello Anance. I'm a neuroscientist and psychologist who was involved in a black project. I didn't know that I was applying for a black project. In fact, there was no job ad. However, I got the contact through my doctoral supervisor, with whom I had worked for several years. He told me that he didn't know much more about it, but they were looking for young, talented people. The secrecy immediately piqued my interest, and I sent my resume to the contact. Before I was even hired, they wanted several tests from me. They gave me 3 appointments, one for a psychological test, one for an IQ test, and the third one was really weird. They kept showing me random pictures, from war scenes to animals, and I had 2 buttons, both white. I had to randomly choose a button. After completing the tests, they gave me a call and told me that they would offer me the job. The facilities were in a completely remote area. I was forced to use only their car with a specific license number and had to check several security spots. To my own safety, I can't tell you where it is, but hikers or people on long road trips can easily see the buildings. It's just that it's in the middle of nowhere. I also wasn't allowed to talk with anyone except the guards. One of them would take me to my office, and I wasn't allowed to leave it for no reason. I had my own toilet and kitchen. If I wanted something, I had to ring a bell, and they would ask me. I had no contact with the other workers on the floor and never saw anybody else. The guards were systematically taking us to our rooms so we couldn't see each other. We also all had our own parking boxes, and I never saw the cars of the others, only the guards. When I entered my office, I had a list with questions and to-dos on my desk. Our internet was heavily censored, and we could only access specific libraries. At the beginning, I didn't know what I was working on. Initially, I had to delve into religious explanations for the purpose of our existence. I was concerned, as I believed a theologian might be better suited for this kind of work. In the subsequent days, I delved into researching reincarnation and its various forms. As weeks passed, the work became more intriguing. I was assigned to research a concept: how would humans react if they had the means to create a simulated universe? In this simulated universe, individuals could freeze their current lives and be randomly reborn with unpredictable circumstances, whether rich or poor, sick or healthy, experiencing a short or long life. The twist was that they wouldn't be aware of their original human life, and upon death, they would return to their human bodies, retaining the experiences of their simulated lives. This idea fascinated me. After work, I sought out books and movies that explored this concept. The questions they posed evolved from this premise. The next one was, what if we are living in that simulation, and beings from a higher dimension could control and interfere with us, akin to the game Sims? They delved into considerations like how long the simulation should run and what insights could be gained from experiments like these. I completed my research, and after several months working for them, I left my position with a notice of dismissal and a reminder that I had signed an NDA and wasn't allowed to discuss this. All of this occurred between 2017 and 2022. With the recent surge in disclosure about unidentified aerial phenomena, UAP, and reflecting on my research at the facility, I became convinced. These aliens are interdimensional beings. They are us. We are not originally from here but hail from another realm of existence. We chose to come here to experience life in this realm under one condition: to forget about our former lives. Upon death, we return to our own realm. The intriguing aspect is that not all of us originate from the other realm. By us, I mean what we commonly refer to as the soul or our personality. Humans hold a unique place in this world as vessels for a soul. Interestingly, there are humans without a soul. I understand this might sound like a bad ginger joke. Animals, on the other hand, lack a soul, yet the absence of a soul doesn't hinder their capacity to love, hate, think, or believe. A soul serves more as an anchor, connecting the other realm to our world. Even if you are a human without a soul, you are as valid as humans with a soul. The only distinction lies in the fact that when you die without a soul, you are gone, whereas those with a soul return to the other realm. Importantly, this difference doesn't impact your personality or actions. We are aware of this, and I'm confident that in the coming years, those in the know will disclose this information. The beings from the other realm must potentially, as I don't know if I have a soul or if I'm a soulless human, control this world. Why? I've encountered various explanations, ranging from a desire to experience different lives to conducting research about oneself. The reasons can be entirely diverse and elusive, But one thing is certain, we exist in a fluke, and these beings, whether me or you, could be one of them, have infiltrated humanity. Now, before someone starts to label me as a crazy esoteric or religious fanatic, let me provide an explanation of the library we had access to. It was a collection of books including the Torah, Bible, Quran, and various secondary literature. However, the most intriguing ones were scripts without any clear source. These scripts told stories and tales about humans delving into the realm we had created. It read like fan fiction about people merging with their Sims worlds. However, the more I delved into them, I noticed that these could be real-life biographies. They weren't fantastical, but rather stories about wars, families, and daily life. I acknowledge that I can't provide you with concrete facts or source materials, but please consider this as food for thought. If my assumptions are correct, these scripts may be diaries from humans who lived on this earth. Personally, I believe that the UFOs we observe act as some form of supervisors, and individuals with close contact are visited by their friends, or they are involved in fixing something.
What makes you so sure animals lack a soul? You said,
the beings from the other realm, us, control this world.
You provide zero base for this, just a LARP. How did you arrive at such conclusion? What research did you do exactly? When you said,
these aliens are interdimensional beings. They are us.
WTF is this supposed to mean? Are you a human? Or an alien?
The stories I read mentioned that animals and many humans would long for what we have. However, they never delved into specific details. For instance, I recall a man writing about his dog, expressing that even though he misses it, the dog is by no means lesser than him. This was a recurring theme in all the stories. Other humans or animals would yearn for it, but it didn't imply that they couldn't feel emotions or that they were less than us. There exist two worlds, our world, inhabited by humans, animals, and plants, and the other realm with its own population, the nature of which remains unknown to us. Some individuals from this realm choose to enter our world by taking over a human body at birth. However, not all humans experience this takeover at birth. Consequently, we have two kinds of humans, those born without any interaction with them and those who have been taken over. Both groups develop entirely normally. You can think of it as having a co-driver. Consequently, some of us, it remains uncertain whether you or I have a co-driver, may not be entirely from this world.
It's very intriguing the amount of hate this post is getting immediately. Very telling that someone or some group of people do not want this to be known. I can also see why this would be very existential and cause the rumored string of self-terminations. It makes a lot of sense if you're in a crappy situation. Why not commit self-termination and go back to where you were before? Or, if you are one of the unlucky beings without a soul, then you would actually be for real ending it all, in which case, if it were me, I'd drop everything if I found out, and begin doing only occult stuff to explore my consciousness, allow energy manipulation and learning to possibly persist somehow after death. This would explain how people experience past lives. They are simply blocks of memory that have been freed back to the heap, and the data is not wiped completely so you are able to see another being's prior life. This thing is getting slid fast.
It's called a karmic incarnation. The difference is consciousness and self-consciousness. That's what you describe as soul. Everything is consciousness, pure energy. Plants, animals, even inanimate objects are product of this creative energy. Self-consciousness is different. We are aware we exist. We are aware of our surroundings. We experience not only our own existence, but a collective one. If such a being realizes that his current self-aware existence is like a dream state of the pure consciousness, we call that awakening. One who peers through the veil of reality between focal awareness and into boundless consciousness is an awakened being. In giving up the self, you return to the source. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? The kingdom of heaven is within.
Exactly. If the OP really was selected among a pool of individuals, which I believe to some degree, then perhaps this is how they select people for the more advanced studies for the Hermetics of the Freemasons, or contemporaries like the Rosicrucian orders. If they forced the OP to sign an NDA, it tells me that the OP was just cut loose as they did not find the OP useful for what they are working upon. They despise those that fall under the pitfalls of existential theories. What they are looking for are people that can see what is hidden in plain sight of the texts themselves, also those who show signs of ESP. I'm not saying that the OP has peaked or hit the glass ceiling. The handlers that employed the OP for the investigations are probably still keeping an eye on the subject just in case they may offer an invite back to the vetting process.
I am not barred by an NDA OP. You have made a few incorrect assumptions. Your knowledge is deep enough, but I'm not fully buying the cover story. Aside from that, I feel the need to correct your assumption. You're spot on aside from souls being simply an anchor point and that animals do not have them. The soul is within Earth and is divided among life born on and evolved from itself. Not all life on Earth has souls, and yes, there are humans without it, but potentially everything here is soul capable. This is unique to Earth. There are also aliens that exist within this universe that are advanced, and they do have an understanding of Earth's uniqueness and the human soul. But the aliens that matter are the higher dimension ones, which exist much like you've explained and expected. Unfortunately for us all, I can promise you that full disclosure will never actually come. It's too impossible. The subject requires too much context and understanding. The human population will never get past the idea of physical aliens, never mind non-corporeals. Would you like to know more? I'm sure I can fill in the blanks. Would you like to know the purpose of this simulation? We live in a simulation made by higher beings, not a computer. The purpose of this simulation is for said higher beings to experience more. Their concept of time is not like ours. What is a moment to us is all of time to them. They found a way to inhabit forms of life like us to better experience the material universe. They will continue this simulation for likely billion more years so they can experience more. Souls can only be established to Earth-born, love-capable species. Souls can be lost if their experience is horrid enough. A coalition of extraterrestrials and corrupt, soulless human organizations have conspired to remove the souls from all life on Earth. This coalition is called the Network, and they have been in establishment since the first human civilizations. The Network is far more capable, far more advanced, and far deeper embedded than most people would imagine. The Network has been very successful in the past, and their end goals are on track. Governments will offer disclosure in our lifetimes that will simply pit us against various ETs in just another step to further the network's goals. There are good ETs which want us to fulfill our destinies, and they are mostly scientific/observational in nature. These ETs even feature some former human breakaway civilizations which attempted to replicate souls on another planet and failed. When the governments give us disclosure, they will say the good ETs are actually bad and the bad ETs are actually good. If we do not realize this ploy quickly, their endgame will be cemented in place forever. Their endgame includes terraforming Earth into something bad/Mars-like and offering genetic improvements to combat these conditions to those loyal to the network.